Well, hi folks. Labor Day, September 7th. Trust you're having a great day and trust everybody's working hard. That's what Labor Day's about, right? It's interesting. When I was a kid, I often thought that one should be working on Labor Day. But sometimes we give our holidays a name that means the opposite, right? Especially when you're a young person thinking just learning the language. So that's what I thought. I could never figure out why nobody worked on Labor Day. Everybody took the day off. Sort of funny. So I have I'll put some links in the description for you, and a couple interesting videos. We'll have, I think there's one with Dr. Coleman about vitamin D3. He's finally questioning why the World Health Organization and the mainstream media and everybody isn't talking about this, because the tests clinical trials he has finally got his hands on are proving beyond a reasonable doubt that vitamin D3 is essential for the human, for your health. And so I would watch that. Whatever you think about vitamin D3, it just might help you to get a different angle on that. I've been taking vitamin D3 for a long time. Dr. Shield from MedCram talks about it. But years ago, Dr. Mercola was doing articles on it, and I started taking that to heart back then, and it's been good for me. So you have to make up your own mind. But we know why the powers that be don't want it running, because it's cheap. They'd rather make thousands of dollars on treatment, whether it kills you or not. It's that simple. Follow the money. Follow the money. So anyway, also some links from Britain as well, from some independent journalists. And I think it's good to sort of look at the Western world to see what's happening. We've sort of focused on Australia and New Zealand for a while. I mean, it's crap down there what they're doing. Police can come in your house anytime, take your temperature, take your kids, blah, 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 arrest you for silly things, and arrest you for a social media comment. It's crazy. And of course, so we've looking at England as well. You see a couple of cops kneeling there. When it going gets tough, they start running the other way. Well, they're not running on this one, but on previous videos, you see cops being chased down the street. It's a sitting MP there is lobbying to get rid of capitalist system, get rid of democracy. Why the hell she is involved in the political process if she doesn't want it? Sort of interesting. There's goofy people all around the planet. Of course, it's interesting to see what's happening in other parts of our Western world, because we're all in this together. And then when you come back stateside, it's pretty crazy. See, Portland still 100+ days, people being just really dumbasses. Although I see 50+ were arrested over the weekend, which is sort of maybe a sign that somebody's coming to their senses. And you've got to wonder why most of the problems are happening where there's Democratic mayors, Democratic governors. And if you're voting Democrat, if you're a liberal, if you really have any critical thinking skills, got to wonder, why is that? What is going on? Of course, we know what they're trying to do. But as a voter, are you going to support that? Are you going to support that? Are you a socialist? And I think a lot of times we look, but we don't see. And maybe that's the problem down there, because I can't see how anybody who has a freedom-loving spirit would vote Democrat. Just don't see it. Of course, a lot of us get brainwashed, and it's pretty easy, and you can understand how that happens. So that's going to be an interesting election. And if the socialists win that, I guess, folks, the system and the life as we know it is done. And if you can't see that, well, what can I say? Someone in a conversation yesterday wanted to know why I would couch Canada's new finance minister's little speeches and interviews in between the two same videos with Arnold Schwarzenegger. She's in government, and well, why would you have Schwarzenegger there? Well, in case one forgets, he was governor of California for a while. And it's interesting, he's a Republican, his wife is a Democrat, married into the Kennedy family. But his speech is quite intriguing. And any day of the week, any month of the year, any year, I would take that philosophy, the chance to chase your dreams and do your own thing. I'm not a socialist fan. I'm a fan of assisting and helping people, but not having, not watering everything down to a socialist way of life. And all you have to do is look at countries that have done that and see where they're at. It's a lot of people get this la idea that everybody's going to share everything and everything will be equal. And that's bullshit. Everybody knows that's not going to happen. Look at China. The members of the CCP have a lifestyle that's a hell of a lot different than the average person in the street. Same as the 2%ers in the Western world. And I know Freeland talks about the oligarchy and the 1%, 2%. She doesn't like that idea. So I'm waiting for her budget to come out on the 23rd of September to see how the rest of the minority government react to it. Can't say much more until we see what she's got in that budget, what her and Trudeau have planned to put in there. So it'll be an interesting day. But the idea that if you look at her, listen to her speeches and look at those video links from yesterday, she talks about controlling the oligarchs by creating and preventing that from happening by having more rules and more regulations. And I get the feeling from, as I said yesterday, from listening to her, she doesn't want to put the energy and her neck on the line and go try to do something really out in the free enterprise world, because that's difficult. You could fail. But she can do that through government. She can get into government, get elected, and then start trying to control what everybody else does. Interesting thought. And obviously that's where her and Trudeau are. You know, it's a crazy conundrum we're in. Now the world is changing, and it's changing in a sense that if Trump loses this election, and I'm not a total fan of Trump, but if the socialist left wing gains power, all the corrupt craziness that has come to the fore will be packed back down, and life will never be the same. Because that's the last bastion of whatever, although it's corrupt and idiotic, and as Trump calls it, a swamp. The Americans are the last foothold in the free economic system, in the capitalist system. And Canada were gone socialist a long time ago. So it's sad, but so I'm waiting to see what happens there. It's going to be intriguing. You know, it had a conversation with that, wondering why we had Arnold Schwarzenegger in there, and we were chatting, you know, way back when the Greeks sat on a stone bench discussing the philosophy and policies and politics of the day. You know, their feeling was that people are born, should have their rights and freedoms and be, you know, the upper end philosophers. But they sort of acknowledge that not everybody is equal. Equal in mental capabilities, equal in physical prowess, equal in every aspect. And you look at Schwarzenegger, indicating the body he built. I mean, that's not going to happen here. We have different genetics. I mean, I could be working till hell freezes over on my body, and probably I'm not going to be Mr. Universe. Even when I was 20, I was 120 pounds soaking wet, can never gain weight, sort of thing. So it's intriguing. But the socialists think, yeah, everybody should be equal. Except the people who don't agree with them, we're not equal. Go figure. Go figure. So this is just a short one today. Check those links through. Look after yourself. Check your vitamin D levels. I think on the island you can get it tested. Get a test to see what those levels are. I think it costs $65. I haven't done that. I just sort of monitor myself and know how I'm feeling, and go from there. So anyway, have a good rest of Labor Day. Don't work too hard, and we'll see you tomorrow.